I got permission.
I can't give it to you, but
you can give me permission. Okay, so today we have a fun-packed show. We're not only going to talk about my article in Florida today, we're also going to share about an event that's happening today in Jacksonville with the Jack's vegan couple, half of Jack's vegan couple, Safura Osmani. And we're going to talk about our Heal Tribe. And I hope for those of you who watch today and are listening on the air will be able to join us, and we'll give you all the detail pretty soon. How much time do we have, Brian? Let's see. 3 seconds. We have 3 seconds. And you know what it's time to do when the music starts. Give me that Muppet. Come on, Tim.
We burn, we make mistakes, and we live in
love this. Okay, it's time for our calisthenics in the morning. This is where we dance. You know you're being seen now, right, Jim?
People can see how little rhythm I have.
Show me the Muppet move.
And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here.
I love these people. I love my job.
Waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show.
Here we go.
To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, I'm so excited you stumbled upon me today. That's the quote. I stumbled upon you today. And so for those of you who are my returning fans that have listened to the show religiously, I'm so grateful that you're back. Today, we have an unbelievable show because we have different things that we're going to be talking about. As you know, it is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, before I start giving you phone numbers and telling you about today's show, I have a special friend that I think my mom has some splaining to do because some people say that we look like twins. And so I've got Safura Osmani. She is the half of the Jack's vegan couple because we have an event today, don't we?
Yes, we do. Thank you so much for having us on the air today, Lily. Excited to be here. Our event today is all about healthy eating and living. Yay! We've created a Heal Tribe Plant Pure group for you here in the Jacksonville community. Please join us for the Heal Tribe kickoff meeting today. We have food by Kaboom Kebabs, Mediterranean food. Stop by at 5:30 at the Salem Center. And if that you want to learn,
that address is 7235 Bonneville Road. Yes. And so that's at 5:30, right?
That's correct.
And so what should we expect? For those of you who went to the event Eating You Alive, there were 36 of us that gathered for dinner. And Safura, I'm telling you, she is dynamite. She advertised and she made sure that we were all there. And we had over 100 people show up for the viewing at Tinseltown. Say more about that, Safura.
Thank you, Lily. So we joined forces with Lily McDermott and Eating You Alive, and we broadcasted it all over social media. We had people here in Jacksonville who attended the dinner. We worked with the restaurant to make sure they provided no oil MSG Vietnamese vegan food for us. Yeah. It was a great event, excellent turnout. And then Eating You Alive movie, we had over 100 people. It was a sold out event.
Yes, they were turning people away.
That's right. And then we had a little panel discussion after the movie asking individuals what's next. And then how do they want to learn and how to heal themselves and their family through healthy eating habits and a very healthy lifestyle. So we created the Healthy Eating and Living Tribe. Heal Tribe. Yay!
Yes.
On Facebook. You can go to Jack's Vegan Couple or you can search for the Jack's Healthy Eating and Living Heal Tribe in Facebook. Request to join us so you can stay aware of all of the communications, tips, resources, and the events that we will be providing for you.
Very good. And so for those of you who have not RSVP'd and you would like to attend this event in Jacksonville, there's going to be a separate event in Brevard County on, that would be April 25th. There's going to be an event, and we're going to be meeting at Bonefish Grill in Merritt Island to experience a Space Coast Heal Tribe. And so for those of you who would like to join me there, you need to RSVP at 407. That's 407-373-5959. We just want to know if you're going to be joining us so that we can prepare a place for you. We're going to be waiting for you. Again, explain a little bit more, Sephora, who's going to be at the event, what we're going to do tonight.
Of course. So we are going to have our wonderful members of the Jack's Heal Tribe attending, as well as Dr. John Ripoll, and we will have Dr. Will Niels there, as well as Lillian McDermott. And what we're going to be doing is we want to learn more about you, your stories. What are you doing to stay healthy? And like Lily says on her radio show, take responsibility or take pills. So you want to take responsibility, right? So join us tonight so we can learn more about you and how we can help you by joining our tribe.
Yes, and so this is the Healthy Eating and Living Tribe. We also are going to be calling it the Heal Tribe. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you want to learn how to reverse diabetes, how to reverse heart disease, prevent it, not just reverse it, all the itises in your life, if you want to learn how to prevent that, how to learn a new truth about your body and how it can heal, this tribe is for you. We're waiting for you. It's tonight, April 11th at the Salem Center. That's 7235 Bonneville Road, Jacksonville. We start at 5:30 for our mix and mingle, and then we eat some wonderful food sponsored by Kaboom Kebab, right?
You don't want to miss that. We're going to have some amazing things on the menu, from hummus to baba ganoush and vegetable pilafs. We're looking forward to seeing all of you. We're really excited. If you haven't joined us yet, you can go to Jack's Vegan Couple Facebook page and click on the link to join.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much, Sephora, for sharing this wonderful news. And we're going to continue our conversation with Tim Walters when we return from Florida Today, worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you.
Thank you, Lily.
Lots going on. Lots going on. Okay, so what do you think of that, Tim?
I think I want some hummus with a little roasted red pepper right now.
Yes, yes. Well, you know what, Tim? We're going to do this for Space Coast. I was trying to remember the Space Coast. It's going to be the Space Coast Heal Tribe. And we're going to be establishing it also. And so what we're going to be doing there is we're going to be going to Bonefish because they have offered a vegan, I need to ask them for it to be no oil as well. And so tonight, the guy, what is the name of the guy that for Kaboom Kebab?
His name is Abe, and we can get in touch. I'm sure he can provide something in your county as well.
You think?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question real quick,
Sure.
Lillian and Sephora. So you said that event is coming up on Merritt Island. Was it April 25th?
April, which is a Wednesday.
So if you would like to get something in our health section next Thursday, why don't you just type up a little bit about the event and send it to me, maybe 200, 250 words, whichever one of you wants to send it. Tell me the who, what, when, where, essentially, and I'll put a little write-up in our health section. I need to have it by Monday, so it'll make it into Thursdays, which
you will
is
have it.
What is that? The 17th, I think.
Awesome.
So, or 18th, whatever that Thursday is. So yeah, send me the info and we'll get it in the paper and we'll give people a week's notice.
Awesome. We'll do it. We'll do it. That's great. Thank you so much, Tim. And
Sure.
Sephora, as always, I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight and mingling with our new friends for the Heal Tribe.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
You have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Okay. So Tim, we're going to switch gears here and just absolutely dive into the article now. And hold on a second. you, Tim. I really appreciate it because I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for the Space Coast viewing of the Eating You Alive. Have you seen the documentary yet, Tim?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, maybe I'll lend you my copy. Okay, you ready?
I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407.
Does Sephora look like me?
5959.
Yeah, if you were
Once
wearing
again.
glasses, yes.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow with one another. I hope that you can join us tonight at the Salem Center at 5 o'clock on April 11th. 5:30. So at 5:30 we begin, and then we eat our meal. We share a meal together, and we'll discuss with one another what we need from each other. It's a tribe that will be supportive. There's going to be no judgment. No judgment. There's going to be great doctors that are whole food plant-based. We're going to hold your hand through this process. So if you want to learn how to do this. Now, we'll be right here. Call me at 407-373-5959. That's 407-373-5959. You can call or text me. Let me know how many people you want to bring. And this is a free event for you to dip your toe in delicious food, not dip your toe in delicious food, to dip your toe in healthy living. So now we're going to switch gears because it's that time again where we get to dissect my next Florida Today article with one of my favorite editors, Tim Walters. He's also the creator of Daddy Duty. You'll find him at whenyouneedafriend.com if you want to listen to some of the past shows. You've been coming on now, Tim, for 2 years?
At least, yeah.
2 years on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. He's been a regular, faithful. You will find my article online right now. You can go to whenyouneedafriend.com. You can click on there, and it'll take you to the online article. And on April 12th, it will be in print, which is tomorrow. So since this is our sole purpose in life, to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Tim Walters is here to do just that. Welcome back, Tim, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Well, thank you as always, Lillian, and I love how you introduce me. You make me sound so astute.
But you are. But
that's
you
very
are.
true.
You're my Swiss Army knife of people, my editor.
I love that title. I was just telling someone about that the other day who asked me, you do what? So it's kind of fun when you tell them all the different little things. But I'm ready to dip my toe into your article.
Let's talk about that. What did you think of my article this time?
Well, you know, I see the headline, which is always the first thing that I see before delving into it because I'll read through it and then I'll kind of pick into it a little bit further on a second read. Yeah. So I see, how does the body speak? And the first thing I thought was, well, with your mouth, right? No, but no, you go into talking about, how things that you kind of suppress, I guess would be a good word, throughout your life can turn into all of these different problems, these different diseases. And so, as I read through it, it's just, it makes you stop and think all of these different things that happen in your life. As you always say, and I heard the quote on the first part of the show, take responsibility or take a pill. Well, a lot of the things that you have to take a pill for can be avoided or reversed. You just have to make the right decisions, and sometimes making the wrong decision is so much easier than making the right decision. Yeah, you can take a pill, you can take responsibility. Is offensive to some people because many people feel that health and ill health is hereditary, and ill health, they didn't do anything to deserve it. And nobody deserves to be unhealthy, nobody. But what we deserve is to treat our body this better than we treat our car, better than we treat those items that we absolutely love, that we've purchased. I mean, nobody would ever, and you've heard me say this so many times, and I've heard others say this on my show too, so I didn't create this. You wouldn't put sand in your car and expect in the tank of your gas tank and expect for your car to run. But yet we do this to ourselves in different ways. And this article specifically, Tim, was targeted towards trauma, towards emotional
whatever happened in our childhood, because we're little tape recorders from the moment we're born till about the age of 7, according to Bruce Lipton, according to me, 10, because that's when there are 2 significant things that happened in my life that I believe I carried with me that caused my body to feel that it was sick for a long time, until I dove into those issues. And I still dive into them every day. Almost, it seems like, oh, this reoccurring thing. That's because this is what happened in my childhood, and I'm reacting to that, not really what's happening right now. Does that make sense?
Sure. It does. I think when you start out your article, you say so many of us go through life totally unaware of the truths that hold us back. And that's basically what you're saying, is you had these truths that you let negatively impact you until you faced them and got beyond them. And that's so incredibly hard to do. It's, I can't even describe it. So, you say we ignore the impact of these events in our lives, and people don't often relate those things. They relate those things to mental health and well-being, but they don't relate them to physical health and well-being. And now you even use some medical research in here
Yes.
to show that some of those impacts aren't just mental, that they are physical, that they cause problems and cancers and diseases.
Yes. And so the underlying conversation that I had with me started, as a child. I mean, when I was one of 5 kids, and I was like the invisible one. And different things happened in my life to kind of confirm that I was insignificant. And I've shared this story before about my when I was 7 years old, my teacher said that I would never amount to much. And then when I was 10, my grandmother said, if you stop playing the piano, I will stop loving you. And so I grew up feeling like an unlovable, never amount to anything. But I didn't understand it. I remembered it. I remembered the memory. And I remembered they were trying to motivate me. But I didn't realize how much that caused the way I perceived the world, my relationships, my job, my health. I did not realize how much my perception was impacted by those 2 moments. And I'm sure that if I go back and dig a little deeper, I can find more events that have been a part of my body that what I say in my article is that what I've learned from Dr. Mona Lisa Scholes and other doctors that have come on the show, that when you experience trauma of any kind, and it doesn't have to be a terrible disaster, it just has to be perceived as something that is marked within you, that it gets engraved, it gets recorded into your white blood cell. That goes into different centers of your body. For those of you who follow Eastern chakras and that kind of information, or that about chakras, those are centers, and those memories they get recorded into these centers, and these centers, these memories, if not dealt with, manifest into disease. But I think, Tim, you had talked about mental health. Most of us don't want to be associated. We don't want disease to be associated with mental health because of the stigma. I'm sure that you've heard people, deny addictions and deny things in their lives because they don't want to be, quote unquote, a nut job or crazy.
Yeah. And the mental health question, I think people, unfortunately, as you mentioned, stigma, people hear mental health and they think crazy, and it's not. It's so much different than that. It's so much more than that. And it's so much more impactful than that. But unfortunately, everybody kind of has that, oh, well, if you've got a mental health problem, you must be, off center. And it's just not true. I mean, the person sitting next to you in your cubicle may have something like that. But, I can use examples in my life. I've talked about, my dad and how he was, an alcoholic, but it actually ended up being something for me that was more of a lesson. So, I learned this is, not how I want to be perceived as I get older. So I use that. And, we were talking about this the other day, and
we were recording your television show.
Yes. Yeah. And, it's one of those things where I never really saw it as a trauma. And you said, well, that is a trauma. And then I was like, huh, But some people like me can use it to improve themselves, and some people take that and they hold on to it and they let it affect them in other ways. And I've seen people like that who had families kind of similar to mine. And I guess that's the thing, is if you don't learn to just come to grips with it, fight it, and use it for the better, then it's going to be for the worse.
Yes, absolutely. It's the dealing with it. I want to go back to this mental health issue again. When we're talking about the memories that go and that get stored in the white blood cell that become manifest into disease, we're talking about an emotional component, and that manifests into it. And that emotional component needs to be dealt with, because what happens is the body and the brain get out of alignment. And the body knows that something is brewing, something needs to be dealt with. And then instead of dealing with the pain that you're unwilling to look at from your childhood, or a divorce, or some form of crisis in your life, when you refuse to look at that and dive into the emotional aspect and how to heal from that emotional aspect, then what happens is the body says, you've got to deal with some pain. So here, let me give you some pain. And what happens is that we focus on the diagnosis. We want to have a diagnosis so that we can deal with the diagnosis. But the reality is that there's an emotional component to that diagnosis. Without that emotional work, we're only treating 1/3 of the body. We talk about mind, body, spirit, right? And so if we're just treating the body and we're not treating the spirit or the mind, we are out of alignment. Once you put all that into alignment, it's amazing how fast we heal.
Yeah, that's that's the time-consuming, hard, and unfortunately, there's not like a book or a guideline that can help you get there. You just have to work toward it, and it's a daily process and a monthly process, and it happens over time. I did want to bring up, as you discussed this, I kind of joked with you the other day about this too, is, you don't often see someone quote themselves in an article, but I like the quote. So, and I like how you attributed yourself, but it says, this is attributed to Lillian McDermott: "Your body will not forget what your brain wants to neglect." And I think that's, that it's such a deep thought by Jack Handy. No, I'm kidding. But it is, it's a deep thought, because if your brain is trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I'd use the word suppress again. If your brain wants to suppress it, then your body is going to suffer for it. So like you said, it's getting that alignment between your brain and your body.
Yeah. I was speaking to someone and I was talking about this, and they were saying, I want to forget my childhood. I want to forget my childhood. And I said, you don't want to forget, because we were talking about forgiveness at the time. And she said, I don't want to forgive, I want to forget. But you don't forget. You don't forget unless you have dementia, which, by the way, if you think about it, dementia will allow you to forget. So I said, if you forget, that is dementia. And she said, well, I'm looking forward to dementia. And I'm thinking, no, You're not. We need to heal. We need to figure these things out. We need to come to terms with that there's a greater purpose in the pain, that there is a greater reason, just like you learned. I had never known, Tim, that your father was an alcoholic, and I've known you now for 2 years until I wrote this article. I always thought that your memories of your father, he was such a wonderful, I pictured him as Ward Cleaver. What was that, the name?
He was definitely not Ward Cleaver. He was a good man. He was an honorable man. He just had a massive drinking problem. He was, I guess you would call it a functional alcoholic.
That's right. That's right. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about the article, and then off the air, a little bit more deeper. So I want to encourage you to not only go to whenyouneedafriend.com, but click onto my YouTube video when you bring this show up in the future. And we're going to continue our conversation with Tim Walters when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Yeah, so the emotional component. I think that if people, when you say there's an emotional, there is a psychosomatic, there are people that, they feel like the only way they get attention is by being ill. And I often ask people that I coach, who would you be without your disease? Who would you be without your disease? Some people become so ingrained with the disease, their disease, the one they own, that they forget that we have the power to heal. And in positive affirmations. And if we start, yesterday I had Dr. Pizzorno on the show, and he was telling me about a case that he had about a woman that had, her sister had a disease that she had to have her kidney removed. Well, her sister was told that she had this disease too. So she went to Dr. Pizzorno for a second opinion. When he tested her, she had all the symptoms, high blood pressure, all the disease, like the component of the disease. When she didn't want to have surgery. She didn't want to have her kidney removed. And so Dr. Pizzorno did a bunch of tests. And when he had her back, he said, guess what? You don't have this disease. You don't even have the DNA for the disease. Do you know how relieved this woman was? Her blood pressure came down. All the things that were markers that she had the disease went away. The power of the mind is always underestimated. And this is from a naturopathic doctor who tests to make sure that the diagnosis that the person receives, which is based out of symptoms, matches the actual, what the body is saying. Isn't it amazing?
It is. I think anxiety is such a driver of those type of things. And I thank God that I'm not a high anxiety person because, with the type of job and all the other things that I have to do in life.
Sure.
But my wife is a high anxiety person. And I always have to kind of tell her, take a deep breath, calm down. It's not that bad. And, after a while, she's still anxiety, but at least you can kind of bring her down off of that ready to explode type of point.
Yeah.
And,
but think about it. Think about it. She may not be anxious about what's happening, but it's what's happened in her childhood that maybe has been unresolved, or something in the past that has been unresolved that caused that she had that reaction that got her stuff done.
Well, I think also it's anxiety of everything else coming up. As a teacher, you have 8 million things you have to do. And one of the things I try and tell her, especially if she's having trouble sleeping because she's going through her next day in her mind, is there's nothing you can do about it right now. Make a list. It's all going to be there in the morning, and go to sleep. And sometimes she'll do that, and, she'll sometimes still be up. But sometimes she's just like, you're right. She writes things down, and then she goes to sleep, and it's there in the morning, because there's nothing you can do between 10 o'clock at night and 5 in the morning, that can't wait until the next day. So, and that's something I had to teach myself because, through college, and you get your first job, and then you're, kind of establishing yourself in life. That's, in your 20s and your early 30s is, a real high anxiety time. And it took me until about my mid 30s to kind of like come to that, I could stay like this and probably have a heart attack, or, I've exercised for years now. I run, I do all sorts of things that,
But here's the thing that I just wanted to share that just came to me. Because of your dad being such a great teacher for you, he taught you how not to be. One of your coping skills was to disassociate with your father's energy, to accept your father for who he was, and to love him for where he was. That coping skill has helped you be able to walk away from things that most people can't. Just think about it, Yeah. And we can use these tools. I mean, you could be in front of me saying, my dad was an alcoholic, I'm an alcoholic, my kid will be an alcoholic. Or you can say, because of my father being an alcoholic, my daughter never will have to change. So you can use it for venom, you can use it for
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I'm your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal that we learn from each other. Today, helping me, my co-host, helping us dissect the next Florida Today article, and you can find that article at whenyouneedafriend.com, or you can go to floridatoday.com. It's online now, and the name of the article is How Does the Body Speak? And it's time to listen. It's time to listen. We're doing this Jack's Vegan, with the Jack's Vegan couple. We are doing the Heal Tribe. It's the Healthy Eating and Living Tribe. Today, April 11th, we are going to come together at 5:30 at the Salem Center. That's 7235 Bonneville Road in Jacksonville. We're going to, if you want to be a part of it, go call or text me at 407-373-5959. It's a free event. So that now what do we do with this information for health? I want to encourage you to go to whenyounneedafriend.com and join this movement of responsibility. I've heard it quoted a couple times today. You can take a pill, you can take responsibility. I'm not against pills. I'm for doing everything we possibly can. I've learned enough from these teachers that I've had on the show that have taught us that our bodies can heal, and they can heal naturally. It is when we put other things in our body that causes the breakdown to occur. So go to whenyounneedafriend.com, become a subscriber, check out my sponsors, support them like they are supporting the show, check out my social media, like me there, and spread the good news about the show. I know whenever I get a text from you guys, it makes my heart smile. So thank you so much for those of you who take the time to encourage me along the way as well. The number is 407-373-5959. Call, RSVP, be a part of the tribe, be a part of this movement. And we're also bringing this on April 25th in Space Coast in Brevard County. So I hope you can join us there as well. Stay tuned because there'll be some local shows to give you more information. Today we have Tim. Tim, take it away because this is your part now.
All right. Well, Lillian, I appreciate it. And so we've been delving into your article, which will be in print tomorrow in Florida Today and is already up, as you said, at floridatoday.com and whenyounneedafriend.com. Mm-hmm. And so, the first segment we discussed kind of the trauma, the things that fester and turn into disease. Well, now we start turning our attention to getting beyond those and healing them. So you transition in your article and you say, once we discover the root cause, we can lovingly heal the wounded child within us.
Yes.
And you get to one of two acronyms this week. This one being NEST, which is nutrition, exercise, sleep, and temperament. And you say they're all important to optimal health and healing. Just like a little bird, our nest, nutrition, exercise, sleep, temperament, must be in balance. Yeah. So
I should have put a quote there and put Lillian McDermott, because when Robert was looking at my article, it was my husband, who's my first editor. He said, "Where did you get that?" I said, "From me. I just made it up."
From me.
Did I quote myself? Okay, there we go.
Time to trademark it. Put a little 2018 next to it. But these are all. Nutrition is one of those things that I think that's the easiest one to change, but the hardest one to make changes for. So I'll give you just a personal example. I used to love things like Mountain Dew. Drink lots of soda. I did that in my 20s. Need caffeine, need soda, need this and that. And then, I realized in my 30s, drinking soda all the time, and I was trying to get fit. And so then I started drinking other things, like putting tea-flavored packets in water, or, drinking these different vitamin things or Gatorade. And then, I had been seeing a kidney doctor for high levels of potassium in my kidneys. And it turned out that diet was part of that. So now, the hardest thing I've done is I essentially 90% of the time drink water. And water is not fun. It's not flavorful. It's not going to keep you up. Well, actually, in some ways, it does actually give you more energy. But just doing one simple switch and taking in water as opposed to soda and other things, that's made a huge difference in the function of my body and my kidneys. And, things just run better, apparently. And it's just one of those things that most people don't want to do. They want their coffees and they want their sodas. Sure. And, so like I said, it's probably the easiest thing you can do, but it's the hardest thing to actually do is get rid of those things that you love. Instead of eating beef 5 nights a week, you should, if you're a meat eater, you should only have it maybe once or twice a week. Cutting back on the things you love is difficult because they're so plentiful and so easy to get nowadays, and they're so tasty. But when you feast too much, that's when your body will, revolt on you. So nutrition is that first one.
Yeah,
right?
But feasting is really good. Again, it's that perception. Just like, you were able to look at your dad and see that, the opposite. He was a great teacher of what not to do when it comes to being present and sober in the world. You were able to see that There are other people that would see that as, I have no other choice. My dad was this way, so I have to be this way. We gravitate towards what we feel comfortable, depending on our perception. You can look at water as being boring, or you can look at water as just quenching and adding fuel and power to your cells and positively charging your body. Because if you add anything else, the body wasn't made for that kind of consumption. But we've been trained, just like you train a puppy, we've been trained to like these foods. It takes a very short period of time to train ourselves to like nutritious foods. So will we give ourselves that opportunity, or won't we? So that's why we're doing the Heal Tribe. We want to make sure that people realize that this is something that we can do with support with one another. I'm excited that I'll get to be a part of that in Jacksonville and in Brevard County. And I'm hoping that for those of you who would like to join us tonight, I know, it might be last minute, but you're welcome. Text me at 407-373-5959 to be a part of that. Now, there are some questions, Tim, that I ask that is so important for us to know if there could be an emotional component too. And in the article, I go into a lot of detail, but, and I want to encourage you to read the article, but some of the questions are, were you inappropriately touched as a child? Have you ever been or witnessed physical or emotional abuse? Have you been told that you were bad or don't deserve something, or you don't matter, or you're going to end up in jail? Have you been shamed or criticized? Are you underweight or overweight? So is your relationship, are they unhealthy, including food, including drugs? Are you disenchanted, discontent, or disconnected? Those are some of the few questions that I ask, that if you answer yes to any of those, perhaps it's time to take out your soul shovel and start digging deep so that you can learn. They've gotten this down, and I shared this with you, Tim, that when people have cancer, for example, cancer on the left side of the body, let's say it's a left lung, left breast, it has to do with female, either abandonment, betrayal, or something to that effect. If it's the right side, and this is the work according to Reiki Hammer, he's an oncologist in Germany. If it's the right side that is diseased, that has the disease, the right side is associated with a male. So if you've been going through a divorce, or been abandoned, or if you've had issues with your father, or a male figure in your body, that's how it manifests. And every single person I share the story to will say, wow, yes, that's true. So that's a tip. If there's a right side or the left side, take note that perhaps maybe it's time to go back to that child and give that child what it needs at that time. You can visualize it. You can do it with a counselor, with a coach, with whoever, but it's time to do something different. So that was one of the things I wanted to talk about today, that is so, for those of you who are listening, that maybe that'll be a tip, that it's time to wake up and listen. So Tim, what do you think of that?
Yeah, that chart is super interesting. I was looking at it yesterday, and, as I mentioned a little bit ago, I had a minor problem with my kidneys. It was nothing major. But so I looked at it, and you look to the side, it had kidneys, and it gives the explanations of what could have been wrong. And one of them was actually job. And you think, gosh, job stress, you don't really think is something that can affect your kidneys. But boy, apparently it is. So, I would encourage people to check out that diagram and,
yes,
just kind of.
There is a diagram associated with it. For those of you who look at the article online, if you just email me, I'll send you the chart. This is the chart that I learned when I went to boot camp at Dr. Mona Lisa. And then, I think the chart is going to be in the newspaper tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it should be. Hopefully it reproduces well. And I was also showing you one reason why we couldn't put it online with the article is because we have these strange parameters of cropping a photo. So we couldn't get the whole thing in. So, because it's very tall and thin. So, but, like Lillian said, you can either email her or email me, twalters@floridatoday.com, and I'd be happy to share that with you.
Yeah, it's an incredible diagram. And, you talked about your kidney. Was it your right kidney or your left kidney?
You know what? I'm not sure. It was just the blood level tests showing high levels of potassium.
Got it. Well, that's a test, the barometer. If it's on the left side, it's female. If it's the right side, it's male. So you can go back to your childhood and say, okay, or where that trauma was experienced, and it's time to heal. It's time to go back there. So when we come back, Tim, I really want to talk about my acronym It's awaken.
Acronym number 2.
Acronym number 2. What is it? What is it, Johnny?
Awareness, wisdom, acknowledge, kindness, empower, and nurture. Awaken.
Awaken. So are you ready to awaken? I also want to encourage you to read the article, but we're dissecting it a little bit today. If you have any questions about the article, you feel free to text me, 407-373-5959. And we're going to continue our conversation with Tim Walters when we return worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay. So Tim, I got a text from someone that said that I make their heart smile. Isn't that sweet?
That is very nice.
Check and see who said that to me. I love it. I mean, these are random texts that I get that I think is just so sweet. Anyway, it makes me smile. So go ahead. In the comments below, when people leave comments, it does. Whether it's positive or negative, you know, I take them, you know, I take them and I release them.
Sure. Yeah. But with what I do particularly, if you look at the sports side of my job, all of my emails and calls are complaints. You know, why didn't you have this sport, or why didn't you have this team, or, you know, you're an idiot because you left this out. And people really insulting. I mean, it's really easy for them to be insulting on email. Then with daddy duty, you know, writing about my 3-year-old daughter, I get, oh, you know, she makes me smile. I look forward to your article. I feel like she's my granddaughter. You know, she reminds me of this, or, you know, so I get these wonderful emails every Thursday and Friday when my article comes out for that. And pretty much Monday through Sunday, I'm getting calls complaining about sports. So
yeah,
I guess it keeps you grounded when you have half the people telling you you're good and half the people telling you you're a fool.
But you know what? It doesn't matter what people think of you, because it's a reflection on themselves. You know, people that say something kind to me, I know instantly that they are kind. That the reason they recognize the kindness in me, or the good, like, you know, there could be a wonderful, I received a comment one time. It said, you know, horrible music, loud, and I can't control the volume on the show. I can't control the YouTube volume either. And, you know, and then they start with this horrible screechies music, cheap, you know, and then they'll say, great show. It's like, okay, thank you.
Yes.
But, you know, it's like, it's I have to look at these comments as a reflection on who people are. And I can't take it personally, and neither should you, because you
I don't. And I understand, because, you know, I would say 95 of my complaints are from people 65 and over, and they're people who don't like technology. They haven't learned to use smartphones. You know, they think that I should be telling them the college hockey score from Minnesota because they don't know how to Google it, you know, and they hate that, you know, we're putting more stuff online and the print paper's shrinking. And, you know, so it's like we can't have everything. And, you know, computers have now been around for 20, 25 years. It's like you were in your 40s and 50s when they came out. It's not my fault you didn't learn technology. But, you know, but it's the anger behind the calls. You know, it's like they can't call up and say, you know, next week, can you keep an eye out for, you know, they call up and say, why didn't you have this? This is the worst thing ever. And I come from Pennsylvania.
But think about it. Think about it, Tim. It's really unresolved issues in their life that they're unwilling to look at. So their result is to try to fix you, try to change you, try to do something for you, to you, because they're unwilling to go back there. It's interesting how life changes. It really changes. So Tim, you take over, okay?
Okay, I'm going to come in after break.
You come in. Come in now.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show. I am Tim Walters of Florida Today, joining Lillian this week. And I am leading off this segment as we talk about Lillian's latest article, which is online now at floridatoday.com/health, and at Lillian's website, whenyounneedafriend.com, or check her out on Facebook. You can find Lillian just about everywhere these days. So in our opening segment, we talked about the beginning of Lillian's latest article, which is How Does the Body Speak? And we discussed trauma and suppression, and how things that negatively impacted you as a youth can lead to problems later in life, such as disease and other things. Our last segment, we spent talking a little bit about some of the ways to move beyond that and to start healing yourself. And now we've reached the point where we talk about Lillian's latest acronym, which Lillian is known for, coming up with some very good and smart acronyms each month in her monthly column. And this one is AWAKEN, where AWAKEN, each letter stands for awareness, wisdom, acknowledge, kindness, empower, and nurture. So Lillian, let's start off with the A for awareness.
Well, awareness is asking our body. Our body is speaking through symptoms. And so if we look at the symptom, there's this chart that I provide that you can go back and cross-reference to the emotional component. So for example, I have a thyroid condition. Or there's a condition called thyroidism that I've been diagnosed with. So if I want to say this in a way that is positive. And of course, the root cause of that, if I were to look at the chart, the root cause, it's the fifth chakra, it's communication, will, and timing. So for me, it's not having a voice. Believe it or not, I have a microphone in front of me. I've been able to sing in front of people my entire life. But when it came to me, prior to that, I did not have a voice because I did not feel significant. And it wasn't even conscious. It was unconscious, subconscious, whatever you want to call it. It was something that until I went there and said, wow, where is this coming from? I could pinpoint it to that moment, went back there, healed that child. And so I'm working towards healing my thyroid condition, which I'm being told that was damaged because of the Synthroid they put me on, or because of the medication that I put, it was damaged even more. So I'm working on that, and I take a natural supplement for my thyroid, for my thyroid, and my goal is for that to go away eventually. And so, like a skin condition, for example, I was diagnosed with melasma as a child. If I go to the skin, if you look at the chart, is the first chakra. That's where you sit. And it has to do with family, organization, safety, security, sense of belonging. And I dealt with all these issues growing up in my life. First of all, it's a feeling of feeling ugly. And I was the ugly kid in the family. So, there's so many. And if you just say, I don't need this anymore, I'm safe. You do the positive affirmations to rewrite the. Anyway, I don't want to go into it a lot of depth, but that's something that why I wanted to put that chart on the article. But anyway, so that's what the awareness, going back there, figuring out how to do that. And if you want to get the chart, you can just email me and I will send you the chart. So go ahead, Tim. That's the next acronym.
All right. So W is wisdom, where you say curiously look back, dig deep, and see the patterns and start the shift. But then the A is acknowledge. And I think this is a really important when you say name the trauma and discuss the acknowledge a little bit.
Yeah, I think that they all go hand in hand. When you use your wisdom and you say, I realize, and I want to encourage everybody to go to whenyounneedafriend.com and go to my 100% responsibility page. If you're dealing with anything that you feel you were wrong or you wronged somebody, going through these 4 questions help you release whatever is holding you back. So be curious about it, dig deep, and then acknowledge the trauma. Go back to that child, as I mentioned before. Try to work with that child within you, which is Teal Swan's work, and it's not her work, but it's the work of many healers that are out there that has affected me. Like, for example, going back to that 7-year-old child and telling myself that I am enough, I am significant, and give myself the opportunity to be heard. And so that's just little tricks that we play with one another to rewrite the program.
All right. The K is kindness, and you say change negative self-talk and be patient, loving, and gentle. And this one, I love this one because, sometimes I'll get an angry email and maybe even insulting. And a lot of times I let them go. And sometimes they say something that presses a button and I'll just respond to them and I'll say, would you talk to the cashier at Publix that way? So why would you treat me that way just because I'm not in front of you? Yes, I'll answer your question. Here you go. But I almost put a little lesson in front of it. And I kind of always try and apply that, because let's say you're in line at the grocery store and you have a smiling cashier in front of you, you're going to smile. You know, if you have a grumpy cashier or somebody who's not making contact, you're just going to move through the line. It's how you interact with people. And sometimes you can make that grumpy cashier smile with just a word or a comment. So don't let other people's moods, you know, negatively impact your mood. Try and keep your mood in just a positive manner, and that wears off on other people.
Yeah, and one of the things when I was going through my own personal growth journey, and later as a life coach, one of my favorite things that I took away was, it's none of my business what people think of me. None of my business. And usually what people think of me is a reflection of who they are. So we've got to kind of shift these things around so that we can, listen, we can listen and make some adjustments if needed. But honestly, just use our wisdom, acknowledge, and just be kind and gentle to ourselves and how we talk to ourselves, which is the next one, kindness, right? K.
After K is E, empower. We just got done with kindness. Yep.
Yes.
So empower is discover the gifts and lessons of your past and be grateful. And sometimes I find that even negative things in the past can be a gift, because if you've learned a lesson, if it's actually helped make you better instead of worse, then sometimes those things can be a gift and you don't even realize it. So empowering is not just empowering yourself necessarily, it's also empowering others too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tim, I think every single one of the Awaken acronym, they work with one another. This empower, this gift and lessons, when you realize that things have a purpose in your life, it changes the way you perceive what happened. And so we'll move on to the next one, which is nurture. Right?
Nurture. Yep. Ask, when was my first memory of this painful experience? Give the child within what it needed at that time. Be your own hero.
Yes. I love that. I love be your own hero, because we give our power away. We give it to the doctors and say, "You heal me, doctor." No, the doctor is a vessel by which we can work with, so that we can use the tools that our Creator gave us to heal ourselves. And so we need to stop making everybody else the hero and see that we are the hero within us.
And I like how you ran out the article saying everything has purpose in life. We can be ashamed, afraid, or angry about our past, or we can accept and be curious about the greater purpose in the pain. Use your past as fuel, not poison. And I think that's such a wonderful way to put it. A column is basically you quoting yourself, but you could have quoted yourself about 4 times in this article.
Well, it's funny, when I was about to sit down and write this article, I was like, what am I going to write about? And all of a sudden you get into that zone and you realize it's time. Because when I woke up that morning, I didn't want to wake up. And what I heard was, wake up, wake up, wake up. And that's what we need to do. We have got to wake up, mind, body, spirit. And I hope that the people that are listening today that are in Jacksonville or the surrounding areas will come to the Salem Center at 7235 Bonneville Road in Jacksonville at 5:30. And we're going to be there. We're going to share a meal. We're going to make a plan and how to heal ourselves. Tim Walters, thank you so much for everything that you do for me, and for always being such a wonderful source of joy every time we're together.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love being on here with you, Lillian. And I just ask your audience, keep in mind, just be nice to people, and you'll be surprised at how nice they are back.
That's right. That's right. I'll let that be the last word. Listen to our body. Listen to our body. It speaks. Please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job, Tim. Good job. This was too deep of an article to be able to do it justice in 8 minutes in your television show. When's your television show going to be on?
Sunday.
Sunday?
I believe it will be on this Sunday. You may want to confirm with Rob, because he schedules the, when they run, but I'm almost certain it's this Sunday.
Sunday at 5:30 at WEFS TV.
Although And I don't think we've changed our scheduling yet. But the Florida Today show that runs your the piece that we record, I believe it's going to be moving to Wednesdays and running 3 times a day as opposed to the 1 time on Sunday. So again, please check with Rob Landers, and he will tell you all about the scheduling. I don't think we've changed it yet, so it should be on 5:30 this Sunday on WEFS TV. But yeah, I know that we're switching it around, and that this will be played. I believe it'll be at 11:30 in the morning, 4:30 at night, and 10 o'clock at night. But again, Rob, he has all those details.
I'll check with Rob. Rob is now doing a regular segment with me where we watch movies together, or we watch movies and we discuss them. We just did Fight Club. He was awesome. You know, with Fight Club, all the lessons from Fight Club. I saw Fight Club, and yes, I saw a bunch of violence, and yes, I saw, you know, the first rule about Fight Club and the second rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. But I created my own rule. Guess what the number 1 rule about the Lillian McDermott radio show is?
What's that?
You talk about the Lillian McDermott radio show.
Well, you know, when I talked to Rob on Monday about your article, as I was prepping for the show, I was telling him about it. And this might be a good thing for you to discuss with him. He was telling me about it. It was either a Stephen King book or movie where a person, they were locking their trauma in a box or something to that effect. You know, there were 2 brothers. One was a perfect brother, and the other was, you know, the kind of like small, sickly, you know, not as good brother. And that brother was trying to like contain his pain somehow by locking it in a box until it got out, something like that. So when, again, I don't know movies and books as nearly as well as Rob, but he said it applies to this article perfectly. So
he's like Rain Man. Well, actually, you let Rob know, or I will let him know, that I kind of think the opposite. And the reason why I think the opposite is Teal Swan was on the Lillian McDermott radio show, and she talked about how much therapy is to disassociate yourself with your pain. And the work she's done and the work she talks about is that you go towards the pain, and instead of locking it in a box, you open the box. The box of the Pandora's box of whoop ass. And so you just open it up, you go into it, and you deal with it. You deal with it. And when you do this, you have to deal with it in love. You have to deal with it without judgment. You have to deal with it. And there's certain parameters that we've got to, because it could just, you know, I remember that article that I wrote that I talked about how many thoughts we have in a day and how many of them are reoccurrent and how many of them are negative. So 90% of it is the same thoughts that you had the day before and the day before that and the day before that. But 80% of those thoughts are negative. And so we just need to reformat. We just need to reprogram ourselves, go towards it, deal with it, release it, and learn and grow from it. I mean, you're a perfect example of how you know, because you saw your father, because you said that his father was even worse.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Your father took that, I couldn't do any better. He dealt with his pain by numbing. And you dealt with the pain by allowing yourself to disassociate himself from what he did, but you loved him anyway, and you chose not to be a drinker or an alcoholic. And now your daughter, because you went through it, your daughter will never have to go through that, which is purpose.
Yes.
It's finding the beauty. Instead of saying, my dad missed out on everything, now I'm an alcoholic. That's poison.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean with the article. But Tim Walters, thank you so much. I am so looking forward to our next conversation.
All right.
And to you, my viewing friends, I really appreciate you too. I look forward to our next conversation.